there! Today I'm doing a video where I'm going to be comparing 3 different kinds of dyes using the same fold. Those dyes are going to be Rit Dye, Indigo dye, and Procion dye. Procion dye is also known as tie-dye. So let's get started. I'm starting out with folding my t-shirts. These are 100% cotton t-shirts that I have washed with Synthropol, which is dyer's detergent. And I will put a link down in the description box below for all of the supplies I'm using for all of these projects. So if you want to go and check them out, you can. I'm just going to start out by doing an accordion fold, and then I'm going to do a right triangle accordion fold, and I'm going to put the rubber band right in the middle at the 90-degree angle mark. I'm going to do this for all 3 t-shirts. It's important to do the same folds for all of the different dyes so I can see exactly the difference. First, I'm going to start with the Rit dye. This water is steaming hot and I have it on. I have the hot plate on. I'm going to add my Rit dye here, and the directions say to put in 1 teaspoon of liquid dish detergent and 1 cup of salt. So first I'll put this in. Here's some salt. Here is about a teaspoon of dish soap. Stir this up. It's completely mixed in, the salt's dissolved, and you can see there's a little bit of sudsiness on the top. So let's put in our shirt. The instructions said to let it simmer for 30 minutes, so I did just that. Okay, so it's been about a half an hour and it is really nice and dyed, so I'm going to take it out. Okay, I'm going to put this in here. Here you can see the color. All right, I'm going to just save this in case I want to use it again. All right, so here's my piece. It's just hanging out. Ooh, there's some plastic next to the hot plate. Ooh. And this is the color fixative, and I'm going to put it in there next. Give it a little stir here. All right. The fixative will make the color fast, which means it won't wash out in the washing machine. So this is a really important step, and don't skip it. Okay, let's get this out of here. For this one, I'm going to rinse it with cold water until the water runs relatively clear. I'm just going to rinse it before I untie it, and actually just untie it in the sink so you can see how it turned out here while I'm rinsing it. After I'm done rinsing it with cold water, I'm going to use hot water and a little bit of Synthropol, which is also known as dyer's detergent. Synthropol is designed for working with dye because it will prevent the dye from washing out of your piece and then re-dyeing the resist parts of your pattern. I use it for all of my dyeing projects, and I'll put the link down in the description box below in case you want to buy it. Normal laundry detergent is designed to get grease and oil out of your fabric, and Synthropol is designed to get dye and color out. After I wash it by hand, I'm going to wash it again in the washing machine with more Synthropol. On to our second dye, the Indigo kit from Jacquard. All right, I'm at my dyeing station. I have my Indigo set up here. This is an Indigo vat that I made up yesterday because I was teaching an Indigo class. It's not as fresh as I'd like it to be, but we're gonna see how this goes. Okay. If you're interested in learning more about Indigo tie-dye, I'm gonna link a video I made a couple of months ago that you're gonna wanna check out. So this is oxidizing. It's a really pretty green color, and it's gonna turn to blue when the air hits it. I'm gonna dip this one a couple of times. Okay, so my piece from the Indigo vat has completely oxidized, and now I'm going to open it up. The moment of truth. Oh, wow. I got a really nice strong resist. Really, really nice. So here you can see it. It looks really good. Beautiful pattern. Really, really nice. It's still oxidizing. in the very most inner corners of the design. So I'm gonna let this sit and then I'm gonna go and rinse it. Immediately after I opened this piece, I took it straight to the sink to rinse with cold water, and I'm going to rinse until the water is relatively clear. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing. It really helps my video, and it helps me to know that I'm making the right kinds of videos for you guys. After I've rinsed it, I'm going to wash it on hot with more Synthropol, and then I'm going to wash it in the machine as well. Alright, so next I'm going to do my Procion dye one. First I'm going to soak it in my soda ash solution. Okay, I'm just going to make sure this gets nice and saturated, and I'll leave it to sit for about 20 minutes. So I gotta make sure I have no dye on my hands. This is done. And now it's time to dye it. I have this blue. This is Dharma Trading Strong Navy. I made this 2 days ago, so it's probably a little bit weak. I'm going to punch it up a little bit with some more water and some more dye. I think that's plenty. This stuff is very strong. And I'm just going to fill it up. Sure. Woo! Okay, so now we're going to put my dye on my shirt. Since I'm not vat dyeing with the Procion dye, I'm using the nozzle dye, and I want to make sure that I get the dye into all the nooks and crannies. So I'm just covering the whole outside as much as I can, and then I'm opening up the folds and getting the nozzle in there so that I can get the piece as saturated with the dye as possible. All right, so now I'm gonna let this sit for 24 hours. So here it is, it's been 24 hours, and it's time to open this little guy up. Oh, it's so tight. All right, here we go. That one turned out really cool. It's looking kind of purple right now, but I know that once I rinse it and wash it, it will be all one color. So I went back to my sink and rinsed it with cold water until the water ran relatively clear, which can take a little while, especially with the dark colors like navy. I also added a little bit of white vinegar to arrest the chemical reaction of the Procion dye, and then I washed my piece with Synthropol on hot, and then I washed it again in the machine and dried it in the machine. This whole process took me a few days, but I think the results were worth it, and speaking of the results, here they are. First up is our Procion dye, which is from Dharma Trading, and it's the strong navy color. You can see the pattern has quite a lot of resist because we did not do a vat dye process. You can use this dye as a vat dye, but I chose to do a squeeze bottle process. So there's a lot more white in this pattern. There is some purple spotting, but I think it turned out pretty well overall. Here is the Rit Dye one. You can see that the resist has almost more of a blue tint than a strong white color, and this blue color has more of a green hint to it. I think this is probably my least favorite of all of the results. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever used any of these kinds of dyes and how you liked them. Now on to my personal favorite, the Indigo results. You can see that this one has very deep tones of indigo and then lighter tones of indigo on the insides of the folds. This is mostly because the indigo vat was a little bit old, and also I chose to do a dry dip for this pattern. If you're familiar with my channel, you probably know that I love indigo. I teach workshops all the time, online and in person. So if you're interested in learning more about indigo tie-dye, also known as Shibori, be sure to check out this video right here. I really think you're going to enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, bye.